All right, I'd like to welcome all the faithful to come out today on another blustery February day. Before I introduce him, I'm going to bring some other things to your attention. This flyer that you see is actually for our annual dinner, and that will be Friday, April 29th. Most of the program will resemble what we've done in the past. We'll still have the silent auction starting early, but going along with that, we may have some drawings and some other things that are a little bit different from what we've done in the past. Another thing that will be different is that you'll have an opportunity to buy a full table of 8 guests at reduced cost. It's usually $30 if you make reservations per person. But if you buy that table of 8, it's $25, so that's $200 for a table of 8 attendees. The program is Tim Farmer and his wife Nikki. Tim was host of Kentucky Afield for 20 plus years, and he retired in the fall. Now he and Nikki have a television program, actually of their own. It's on KET and it's also on RF. It's Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen, and it's dedicated to the preservation of traditional food preparation and preservation techniques. And it's really interesting if you watch it. It does a lot of cooking over the campfire. It does a lot of canning of vegetables and meats. It does a lot of meat canning also. Anyway, they'll be here. Tim's got an interesting story of himself and his wife, and hopefully they're going to be doing some cooking for us and some demonstrations also. So that's Friday, April 29th, and we really expect to have the biggest crowd we've had since I've been here. This will be my third, and we've had the last couple of years 70 to 75 people, and hopefully we'll have 100 plus. Now, again, before we talk much about me, for you, let's go around the table and we can start with Sharon. Got your mouth full? Okay.
Sharon Adams, Common Meadows.
Kimberly Shoulders, Riverston. Joanne Bogle, Regional Glass.
Taylor Smith, Verizon Wireless Equipment.
Wade White, I'm County Judge.
Retta Burkhart, Carol Ledger, and 21.
Jerry Aldrich, Travel Leaders.
Jim Stott. Whatever.
The president and also the property.
Thank you.
While we're at it, tell the group what you and I have in common.
Okay, well, we are related.
It's like you say.
We're not first cousins, but possibly second cousins, once or twice removed. But we are related through Livingston County branch. Your great aunt is my great-great aunt.
Okay, well, there you go. Anyway, I keep on finding more and more Livingston County and Lyon County connections along our
That's
hang
right,
around.
what a small world.
Yeah, that's true.
Discover that.
All right, today we have Penny Fletcher, and Penny is the Assistant Director of the Kentucky Innovation Network. And Penny, it's all yours. You're just going to have to tell us what it's all about, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Well, thank you for letting me come out and share about the Kentucky Innovation Network. I'll first start giving you a business card and a brochure, if you don't mind. Just to tell you a little bit more about what we do and what we offer. You were talking about being related. I'm from Murray, Callaway County, but my dad is from Trigg County, and so they grew up. My dad was from Golden Pond, and so I have roots around this area. And I grew up in Murray, went to Murray State. My first job out of college, I went to work in Louisville, Kentucky for the Small Business Development Center, and I loved that job. And the funds were cut that year, so I decided, you can already have one of these.
I do.
I decided to go ahead and move closer to home, so I went to Nashville, and I worked for a local entrepreneur for 10 years, and he wanted to keep his business really small, but it started to grow, and it got so big. Now it's, I don't know how many billion-dollar company, but it's Churchill Mortgage. I don't know if you've heard him, Dave Ramsey on the radio. He and Dave Ramsey are best friends. So that worked out to a really good opportunity for both of them. And anywhere you hear Dave Ramsey's voice, you'll hear him talk about Churchill Mortgage. So I loved my job. I was the director of marketing there, and moved back home to be closer to family. And that's why I'm here. I met my husband, and I live in Cadiz, and I work in Hawkinsville. But I work for the Kentucky Innovation Network, and I've worked for this operation since October. But I have worked with Loretta Daniel for the past 2.5 years, because I worked at the Christian County Chamber of Commerce. So we've been involved in entrepreneur programs. So, and the ones that I did with the chamber, we now are doing the work for through the Kentucky Innovation Network. My office is still in the chamber building in Hopkinsville. I'm upstairs now. And just a statistic for you, last year there were more businesses started, year-to-year increase over any other year in the past 20 years. And from the Kaufman Index, 310 businesses per 100,000 people were started each month. So that was a pretty interesting statistic. Okay. The network, the Kentucky Innovation Network, is a partnership comprised of the Kentucky Cabinet for Economic Development and the Kentucky Science and Technology Corporation. We promote all of the Cabinet's programs, and we're the lead on those. So I am also employed by Murray State University. So I'm an employee of the Kentucky Innovation Network through the Cabinet and through Murray State, because you have to have a host partner. So next slide, please, since you're there. Murray State University, that's our partner. And we operate through the College of Business. We are also, Loretta's office shares with the Small Business Development Center. So if you've met Chris Woolridge before, he and Loretta share a suite, and we collaborate a lot together to help people start businesses and help them grow their business. We just have funds from different sources, and we may have some different programs. So next slide. We have 13 offices around the state. And as you can see, the Murray office, we have, so we move on the next slide, we have 10 counties that we operate in. So Loretta's been the director since 2004, but the Kentucky Innovation Network began in 2001 or 2. So it's not a very old organization, but a lot of Loretta's office was named different things like commercialization, it was Regional Business and Innovation Network, and about 3 years ago, they rebranded, and everybody's office is Kentucky Innovation Network. So the 10 counties are Graves, Marshall, Callaway, Lyon, Trigg, Caldwell, Hopkins, Christian, Muhlenberg, and Todd. So we've got 10 counties. Okay, last year, this is not just the Murray office, but all 13 offices. We assisted over 800 clients, and I think the Cabinet had a lot to do with the statistic of Kentucky being 4th in the nation for entrepreneur activity, and it was 49th before. So it moved 45 places, and that was a huge jump. And 1,103 new full-time jobs were created, average salary of $50,912, 9,185 people were employed, 5 client companies, $123 million in private investment, more than 1 million capital raised since inception. That's a lot. 17,000 plus hours of education, training, and workshops provided. So that's what we do in all these 13 offices. We help people with the business model canvas, and I might tell you a little bit more about that later. And the lean startup methodology, that's just a quick startup to get somebody operational, maybe not everything's in place yet. We help people with intellectual property if they've got patent, or if they've created some new technology. We do workshops, business plan competitions, youth entrepreneurship training. I'll tell you a little bit more about the business plan competitions. We do that. We just did one in Trigg County called the Dream Big in Trigg, where we had 2 winners. We had a new business and we had an existing business. They both won $3,000 cash plus $3,500 of business services to help them start their business or continue to grow. And the new business was Select Products, and they make products out of honey. They've got lip balm and soaps, and they have a lot of other products they're gonna develop. And they sell locally, and they may start to grow and sell more regionally and maybe even further than that. And the existing business was Tulip Poplar Salon and Spa. I don't know if you've ever been there, but that is a spa and salon in downtown Cadiz. So they won, and we are now getting ready to do the Christian County Business Plan Competition, and this is the 5th year for that. And so we'll have up to $4,000 cash and some business services to give that person. There's only one winner for that. And so we're getting busy on that, and that it could change. It could be, this could be something you want to do here. It could be something regional, but it changes. It could be different rules for different counties. So ours, we've got just one business can win, and it could be somebody that just has an idea, not even started yet, or it could be a business that started back up to 6 or 8 months ago. So, okay, this is a picture of the business model canvas. This is another way for clients to help get ideas for their business. They can put these ideas into a business plan. We usually set aside about an hour and a half, 2.5 hours. Sometimes it might take a little bit more, maybe a little less. And we'll put this big poster on the wall, and there's 9 different boxes, and it helps people. You put Post-it notes, and you go through everything from what value are you offering, how are you going to price your service or your product, to how you're going to deliver it. And this is a great way that a lot of businesses or people that just have an idea, this helps them to formulate some ideas on how they put their business plan together. So we also help with pitch events. Even if you don't have a business idea, a business plan, if you just have a thought, oh, I want to have this kind of business or this service needs to be offered. There's pitch presentations where you may go in front of the judges, maybe 3 or 4. You pitch your idea for 3 minutes, 5 minutes, or 10. Just depends on which pitch presentation it is. And there's money that is offered. There's one that takes place regionally, and then those regional winners will go to the state and compete. So I just went to one, I think it was in early December, and a winner from this region, from the 10th County region, Murray office, has a company where he's developed a vest. It's for gaming, like when you play these sports like contact sports, I don't know, like swords and fighting. And, you know, if you get hit, and it's not real, it's not real swords. But if you get hit, it's your word against them. Oh, you didn't hit me. Well, he has developed a product where it will, an LED display will light up. And so you know that you were hit or not. And so he was able to present. He did not win, but we did have 2 other winners. One did win $5,000, and then we had another winner. I think they had $10,000 altogether that was given away. But I think he and Loretta are going to leave in about 2 or 3 weeks for Louisiana, the Delta Regional Authority. I'm learning all this too, so there's a lot of opportunities. And they have a whole week presentation where he can present his idea to another group of judges. So we have conferences, networking events, and we have access to mentors. Okay. We work with attorneys, accountants, workforce partners, accelerators, public relations, colleges and universities. And we have access to those. We'll give contacts if you have a product or service that we know somebody in our network has utilized before, maybe you need to contact them. Then we'll give you all that contact information. And this is just another way that we help people get their business assessment, business development, capitalization, and we work with a lot of different service providers, like I just mentioned, the SBDC, the MEDI, there's one in Hawkins County. If you have a local service provider here, we would work with them as well. And we also, like I said before, we represent all of the Kentucky Cabinet for Economic Development's programs. There are some grants available. They're typically for those businesses that are more technology driven, or and that's at the federal and state level. A lot of times when we meet individually with a business or a client, we'll assess what they're doing, what they're wanting to do, and we will see if there's a federal or state program that matches their business. And there's different criteria for every program. That's a lot to go into right there. That's just a whole workshop in itself. Here's just another diagram of all the capitals programs. I don't know if you've heard about the Kentucky Small Business Tax Credit. We've done, I think today, there's a workshop in Murray at the Murray Chamber where the Paducah Kentucky Innovation Network and Loretta are coming together to present about the Kentucky Small Business Tax Credit. And that's if you have employed somebody over the past year that has stayed, and you put in at least $5,000 of equipment into or technology into your business. There is tax credits, and I think the tax credits are anywhere from $5,000 up to $25,000. And that can help.
We had a presentation on that a few months ago.
Okay.
Specifically on that, and another one goes along with
The Small Business Credit Initiative?
that. Yes.
Yeah. And some of these funds are for more technology-based businesses, but they're, like I said, there's different criteria for each one of those. And we also have a group of people that are part of the angel. We have angel investors. We have a Kentucky Angel Investor Group, and Loretta is working toward getting the Kentucky Angel Network. And these are people who want to invest in other entrepreneurs' businesses. So, so she's working on that, and a lot of times we'll meet with a client and they've got a really big idea and they really need to get it going. They know that what they really want to come to us for is get the financing package ready to present to one of the angel investors. And so these are just some different angel investor tools. Okay. And I just mentioned to you about the Dream Big and True business plan competition, and we were heavily involved in that. We got the judges, we did the scoring, we did some of the promotion, we met with the people who competed, we helped them to develop a business plan, and we also told them how to pitch it, and so that was fun. That was my first time being involved in that, and I think that was True County's second time to have that competition. And this picture is a flyer that we put together for the Christian County Business Plan Competition. So we're getting ready to start promoting that. And how we get the money, that might be another question I should tell you. We look for sponsors. A lot of times it's local banks. I think in True County they have the Tourism Commission, they had the EDC, and they had some local banks. And the prize packages, I think, included the Cadis record advertising, radio promotions, some office equipment, office supplies, things that a business would need. Same thing for the Christian County Business Plan Competition. We try to find sponsors, and that's, we always hope every year that the same ones will do it again. So, right now, how we're getting the money is through the Christian County Chamber. They're doing a total resource campaign. And I don't know if you've ever been involved in a total resource campaign where it's like one ask for the whole year of all your programs, where you don't feel like you're, asking the same businesses, banks, corporations to give again. You put a package together, you have some of your chamber members go out and they sell the membership. Well, you hope that they're members, but if they're not, you sell the sponsorship opportunity. So right now, we've already gotten $3,500, so we're close to getting the cash prize for the winner. And next slide. Okay, this is another opportunity for entrepreneurs. It's the Regional Entrepreneur Conference, and that takes place March the 9th. It's free. Gigi Butler from Gigi's Cupcakes will be there. She started her business in 2008, just a small business. I think she barely had any cash at the end of the first month, but she kept going. And now she has over 100 franchises around the United States. So she's going to come and speak and bring some cupcakes. So if you've ever had a Gigi's Cupcakes, I don't know if you have, but Nashville is where her main office is, and they're sold in, I think, Opry Mills Mall. But anyway, they're really good, and you get a free lunch too, so there's no cost, and you don't have to be there the whole time. You can come and go.
Will you be doing a mailing or something? Publicity for this? How are you doing?
We've been on the radio in Murray. We've been on the radio, WKN. At Murray State, we were on WHOP in Hopkinsville. We were in Clarksville yesterday on WJZM. It's a talk radio show called Mind Your Business. It was the last radio show, last program for a while, so we were the last ones.
Yeah, one of my questions is, can you email us that information right there?
I sure can.
We'll sure that.
Yeah, and I've got some flyers here. If there's a place that
Looks like that's coming up.
You'll promote it.
We
Yeah, and we really need people to register so that we can make sure that everybody has a lunch and a cupcake. If they come and they're disappointed, I would hate that, but, and you can come and go. You don't have to stay the whole 9 to 4.
Well, does this resemble what we did there at the PAD office that day with entrepreneurs that were there that day?
Okay, yeah, Chris Woolbridge was there from the Small Business Development Center.
Well, the guy that was talking about
Jamie Lawrence,
was from,
the PAD office.
yeah, but the guy from Mexico, local from Mexico, that had he was such a success with his internet.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Of course, you were there. You were talking.
Yeah.
There's a group of entrepreneurs.
He's not able to be here.
But
We
it
did ask.
resembles what we did there.
Yeah, this is very similar to getting entrepreneurs together. I think Madisonville just had Gigi Butler come last month for a women's conference, and they had 90 people that came. So typically, this is the 5th year for this Regional Entrepreneur Conference. Hopkinsville Community College takes the lead on it. And the Chamber, the Kentucky Innovation Network, we all help to get this going, the West Kentucky Workforce Board, PAD, and we really love anybody throughout the PAD's 9-county region to come. Okay, next slide.
How often do you have those? Is that annual?
Once, yeah, it's annual. It's always been the Wednesday, I guess Wednesday, March 9th, or 10th or 11th, whenever it falls, during Hopkinsville Community College's spring break. Then we have the whole access to the building, and because the students aren't affected by that. Typically, they're in school to study to go into a field, so it just brings the people from the community and the region to come. Innovation and entrepreneurship conferences, and I mentioned before, these are just some examples of. I think this one down here is 3 years ago. at the entrepreneur conference. We used the whole lunchtime was in the hallway because all the rooms are used with different breakout sessions, and then the keynote is in the auditorium. So everybody that attends gets a bag full of information from the sponsors, and they get to hear an entrepreneur panel speak. So that's what that is. And up here at the top is some of the students at a local high school working on their business idea. And I'll tell you more about that with the next slide. The next big thing, I think this is something Loretta started about 4 years ago. And what it is the local, the high schools in our 10-county region will have students that will work together in groups of 2, 3, or 4. And they'll come up with a business product or idea, and they'll try to put it together. They'll make some type of model, they'll present it. And so it's for grades 9 through 12. And we're working with Tree County High School, we're working in Mayfield, Paducah. And what we do, we contact the high schools. We try to find the teacher that would represent a group of students. It could be life skills, family and consumer sciences, or some kind of technology teacher. And they don't have to be students in those fields. They could be somebody from, in another, that isn't in any of that. And they can all work together as a group. And so we're working, I think this year we have 228 students from 8 local high schools in our 10-county region that are participating. What they're going to do is all of them are going to come to Murray State on April the 15th, that's on a Friday, and they're going to have a table, they're going to present, they have like a 3 or 5 minute pitch presentation that they will present to some judges. And there's winners and there's money involved, and they can, even if it's such a great idea, there's money to start that business. And idea stage, business plan competition. Okay, taking it above the high school level, this is for colleges and universities. So we are working with, I'm not sure if I've got the total number. It's teams all over our region. That's Hopkinsville Community College, that's West Kentucky Technical, and that's Murray State. And same thing, same concept. At the high school level, you just bring it up to the college level. And we even have some high school students that are getting college credit that are going to do this. So you've got some 17-year-olds that are going to be competing, at the college level.
How are students made aware that this is available?
This is the directors, all the Kentucky Innovation Network directors contact the schools, and sometimes it takes a while to get the right person at the school, but that's usually how it is. It's an initial phone call or email to the school principal or the school superintendent. And I know that Loretta has contacted everyone in the region, and
That's what it's following up on.
so it could be, some years are just so busy in a school, they could have had a transition of administration, and they just say, maybe next year we've got new staff, we've got too many things going on, but we want to consider it. Like a couple county schools, that was going on, and they told us, we are interested, but not right now.
And who is the person that's the contact with the schools?
Well, it's been Loretta Daniel, but since she hired me, it's me too.
Okay, all right. I've got your number.
Okay. Okay, and the next slide. Okay, that's my boss, Loretta, in this picture, and that's Dan, the guy that I told you about. He developed that vest where he pitched his idea, and he didn't win, but he did win at another pitch, and that's where he's going for a whole week to Louisiana. And and Spark is another pitch opportunity entrepreneur group that Loretta works with in Graves County. I don't know a lot about it, but these are things that anybody in our region, we can develop something like this for Lyon County. Okay. West Kentucky Ag Bioworks. This is, Loretta's been working with this for a few years. I think she's got a farmer network, 75 acres, 15 farmers. And they're also doing some demonstration crops at Murray State. That's a bio burner in the top right. And they have that as like a display and demonstration of how you can convert biomass and use it as energy or use it for products. So, yeah, that's just the bio burner on display, and I think we have one employee that dedicates their time just for all the ag that's going on through Kentucky Innovation. And I'm learning a lot about that too. And the next slide, business incubator. Okay, this is where Loretta's office is at Murray State. It's in Heritage Hall, which is, if you're on 121, you'll see it right past the Racer Arena, the CFSB Center. And she has 2 or 3 incubators in there right now. And I think those are a couple businesses. I think one is agriculture related called Ag Connections, and another is Wisdom Tree Technologies. And they were able to secure a grant for funding for that. And I think her policy is they can stay up to 3 years. That's not set in stone, but that's the parameter. And
So you're talking, they actually operate out of this facility, is that what you're saying?
And the next slide, I've already told you that the West Kentucky Angel Network, that's something that Loretta's working on that's coming soon. And these are just some of the other angel investors, the logo. Okay, yeah.
It's getting touchy.
Some things I've put together since I've been on board, the marketing research manual. We have access to a lot of marketing research, but past us, you'd probably need to hire a marketing researcher. But we get a lot of information from TVA, and we have a lot of databases that we have access to. So this is information that can help somebody start a business if they need to know a demographic or need to know about a market. So in social media, I'm putting together some manuals to help people with putting a Facebook page together. What do you need to do in an ad? How about boosting a post? What are some free things you can do without having to pay? And so I've learned a lot. I've learned something every time. That stuff changes all the time. And it's kind of hard to keep on top of it, but I'm trying. And I think that is the last slide of how to contact us. You've got my business card, and you can also go to the Facebook page, and if you did, I'd love it if you liked our Facebook page, because we're trying to get more likes on there. And it is KY Innovation Murray. And I've got on here.com, so just forget that. That's not supposed to be there. And Loretta can be contacted by ldaniel@murraystate.edu. You can contact me, pfletcher3@murraystate.edu. You can look at our website, kyinnovation.com, and find out what all we do throughout the state. I've also got some annual reports if anybody really wants to see what all we do. It's pretty interesting. It's all 13 offices and some of the, anything from how we work with the high schools, colleges, to helping people with a technology product, to anything. So, does anybody have any questions?
About how many students or potential future business people do you work with each year, roughly?
I do not know how many we work with. Like the students, 200 and about 225
Mhm.
are going through the next big thing, and that keeps growing. It was 200 last year, so there's 25 more this year. And
Okay.
it started off, I think, with about 50 or 60, so it's grown, and it's only been 4 years. As far as clients, sometimes those people come back again and come back again. They're growing their business, or they may change them and have a different business opportunity altogether.
What percentage would you say are working on developing a product as opposed to, I want to start a restaurant, I want to start,
You know, here's one thing, and Chris Woolridge will tell you the same thing. He works for the Small Business Development Center at Murray. He's the main person to talk to about retail and like a restaurant. And I know he works a lot with local, he really keeps it local with those types of businesses. So as far as those, we are working with people that have a product or a service.
right?
Not so much a brick and mortar business, but we
Right.
do. In fact, the Kentucky Innovation Network started off just being a resource for people who want to create a product or have the technology based or something that was more complicated, I guess.
Okay.
And so 4 years ago, they changed their branding, they changed their whole marketing, and we help everyone, any kind of business. It doesn't have to be science or technology related or a patent. It can be anything. But Loretta and Chris share a suite, and they work together a lot with clients. But he does take more of a lead on restaurant and retail.
Okay.
I mean, so far since I've been in the Hopkinsville office, I had a client that is gonna, start an orchard, and hadn't done it before, doesn't know anything about the business. So we're gonna do what we can to pull some marketing research to help him. And he's gonna put the business plan together. Loretta and I both are gonna meet with him and a partner, and we're gonna go through that business model canvas where you put all your ideas on that board and with a Post-it note. So we've got a wide variety. We've got people who are looking into alcohol beverage companies, to a nonprofit that's wanting to start like a equine business where she goes and helps people psychologically if they've been through some situations, and how that therapy can help the horse and help the person adapt. And so it's a wide variety. It could be somebody that just wants to start a business from home or just part-time, to somebody that's just, we're going to do this. So we don't turn anybody away. It's free.
Well, that's my next question. It always gets down to the dollar. So the services,
It's all free. There's no, because it comes from the cabinet. So, we're mandated from the governor's office to share what resources the cabinet has and to help people start businesses. So, send people up to us, call me or email me, or Loretta. Loretta's got 25 years experience. She's really, really good. She used to work for the Small Business Development Center in Murray and then Paducah, and now she's just with the Kentucky Innovation Network.
do you have a regular newsletter or mailing that goes out?
Well, we are developing some marketing materials. That's what we're even going to have our own website. It's just not ready yet. But that is some of our goals.
And you've got our email address. You need
Yes.
to put us on your distribution list.
Yes.
All right, anything else for Penny? All right, thank you very much. We appreciate you coming in, and have a safe trip home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Next month, let's talk about this just a minute. At one of our board meetings a couple of months ago, we decided that the Lunch and Learn for March is going to be dedicated to the Eclipse event that is scheduled. I guess it's gonna happen as scheduled. In August, August of 2017, so it goes more than a year away, but this thing could be astronomical, I guess, in size for the business community. Wherever that track is, where you have 100% eclipse, and Eddyville is right there. And my understanding is really, you know, everybody's looking at Hopkinsville as being the center, but really the only difference I think between Eddyville and Hopkinsville is that Hopkinsville is going to get a few more seconds of total eclipse, and that's about it. That's about it. But the people that are talking this thing up say that there's going to be tens of thousands of people inundate our area. So if that happens next week, we're not ready for it. It's going to happen a year and 2 months or so down the pipe. Now, are y'all addressing anything along those lines? Have you had people talking about that?
Oh, yeah. I think our tourism office, Cheryl Cook, is the director. She's had 3 men come in that are involved. They travel and they go all over the world watching these.
Yeah, and there are eclipse chasers.
And they, some of them bring their families and they may stay more than a couple of days.
Well, this thing, I think it occurs on a Monday perhaps, but we're looking at like the weekend, 3, 4, 5 days before, and maybe even the day after. But anyway, we're going to be talking about that at next month's Lunch and Learn. And we'll either have Debbie in here, Debbie Dodd, she is pretty well schooled on it from tourism, or she may have a speaker coming. But that will be the topic of next month's Lunch and Learn. But we need to talk it up and get as many people here so that we understand the dynamics of how big this thing can really be for the area. You're prepared, so you need to be doing so.
Like businesses need to have food, need to have lawn chairs, sunscreen. Those are just some of the things. Since it's in August, it'll be, still, big pre-hot items that people would need. Just one example.
Right. Well, and again, that's next month. We don't have a date set for Lunch and Learn. We have a date set for the eclipse. We assume that's going to go on the schedule. But anyway. So with that, and I always tell whoever the presenter is, don't be in front of that door at 12:30 because people want to be ready to go. And that time is upon us. And we thank again everybody for coming out. And we'll see you. I'm going to see you what? I'm going to see you a couple more times. I'll be around for March and April. But we hope to see everybody back next March. And again, this Tim Farmer thing, take these flyers with you, talk that up. Yes, ma'am?
Farrell, also we're starting sales of advertisements for the Chamber Guide. We are going to try to get the Chamber Guide put together and finalized before the end of March so that we can go to print at the end of March or near the end of March so that we can get the printed material back and ready for distribution and by the annual dinner.
We printed, what, 5,000 last year?
I think so. We've only got a
And
little
I've got
over.
100 left, okay?
I think
And
we're
those
going-
things, last year were very popular.
They were very popular. I think we've got about maybe half a case that we keep on reserve. And
Yeah.
basically for me to give us an example, if anyone, does that, of course, that goes to all members. They're free to anyone. All advertisers get copies, but those are also distributed by Farrell, and we take them the normal places that we distribute a lot of our publications, special publications. So those get a more than regional distribution. We've already been requested by Whitehaven and the Christian County Welcome Center
Yeah,
for those.
and Christian County is a big outlet. She told me, whatever her name is down there, on card,
Oh, she's wonderful.
multiple million people that stop there annually,
Yes.
and they're all headed this way. That's the
She's
thing.
told me we can set up a table if we want to,
Yeah.
to distribute them,
Yeah, great.
anytime, so.
Yeah, it'd be great. But it's, it's on that side, it's on the road, it's on the side of the road that's coming this way.
Right.
And Whitehaven, they may be going either way, but at Christian County, they're headed this way.
Well, and I go over, some of my distributions, so there's stuff that comes out, we go out through the Evansville, Owensboro, and through down coming from the east and northeast metropolis, and from the west, but really predominantly that I-24 corridor is really our main market approach, and for people that are And so, but anyway, in regards to those advertisements, we are going to have quarter page, half page, full page ads. See me about getting those ads in those guides. We will have, it will be the glossy cover, the 10 by 10 distribution as we did have. And the sooner the better, and you know, if you have a specific placement that you'd like to have, again, it's a first come, first served basis, so either Farrell or I can take your name down if you have, if you want to put in a reservation for your ad space. Or I'm on call at the Herald Ledger, and I have my business cards here. If anybody doesn't have me on your cell text list, put me on there, please. So.
Any other special announcements from anybody? Well, I guess we have one more. The board is currently accepting resumes, I guess is the best description for my position. And I'll be here through April 29th, and they're looking to hire a new person. So if you have somebody you think might be interested, they can forward those resumes to us. Post Office Box 453 or lakebarkleychamber.com. Well, have a good week. Thanks for coming out.